Girl's Guide to Greatness, and I am super pumped to have you guys with me. I thought I would start off season 2 with someone super special. We have Julie Prince with us today, and she is hailing from Valparaiso, Florida. I said that right, yay. And she is a certified personal trainer, a nutritionist, a life coach, and she helps women over 40 get healthy and fit on every level. And today she's here talking to us about understanding the truths behind losing weight and staying healthy, fit, and vibrant over the age of 40. Woohoo! Welcome to the show, Julie.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Rebecca.
Yes, I am so excited. So she's going to be hanging out with us today. So sit back and relax and enjoy this episode. So Julie, I would love for you to introduce yourselves to the audience and share with our listeners just a little bit about your background, how you got started, and really targeting women over 40. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Would love to. So I've actually been in this industry 20 years. Started back in my early 20s. I was actually going to be a marine biologist, believe it or not, two totally different, exercise science, marine biology. But I discovered my love for health, fitness, and all things nutrition when I actually was out on a walk with my instructor who was in his mid 50s at the time. And I, at 21 years of age, could not keep up with this overweight. I mean, this guy had a beer belly, no judgment, but and I literally, as a 21-year-old, could not keep up with him walking. And I kind of drew that proverbial line in the sand, and my dog is walking back and forth back here. That's Duke. But I drew that proverbial line in the sand, and I said, something has to change. So I actually went back that day, and I was actually smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day at the time.
Wow.
So my lungs were just, gone. Kind of crazy. And I said, I kind of envisioned myself, in the future, if I kept going down this route, that I was going to end up like on oxygen and like barely able those kind of things. And I knew I had to change. So I went on a run. Fast forward, I won't bore you with all the details, but I actually got up to where I was running 5 days a week, and I started lifting weights. And here's what was crazy and mind-blowing for me, what happened. And this is why I love sharing health, fitness, and nutrition with ladies. I actually went from barely passing, like I was a C.D. student. I was barely passing college, to being on the dean's list. Quit smoking, changed my major to exercise science. And because I wanted women to experience what I had experienced. I mean, who would think that just from exercising that I would get off antidepressants, I would bring my grades up that much, I would have so much energy, vitality, it was just an amazing transformation for me at the time. And I just truly wanted to share it with other women. That's why I got into the industry, to answer your question in a very long way, Rebecca.
That was amazing. I think it's important for people to hear your backstory, because because some people will see you now where you are right now and say, wow, she's amazing. And yeah, she can do anything because this, and this. But little do they know that you had to go through these crazy things and these crazy times in your life to get to where you are right now. And that there is still hope, right? There is still hope for people out there who are stuck and they're depressed and they're sad and they're on the couch wondering, wishing they want to get moving, they want to change, but they just don't know how. So I think it's amazing, Julie, what you're doing, sharing your story with other people and then showing them that there is another way, there is a better way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm super excited about this topic. I have to say, I know most of my listeners have heard me talk about this before, but I'm huge into health and fitness. I'm also a certified personal trainer, and I've been doing health and fitness coaching for a very long time, just as a side piece. It was just a nice hobby that, I happened to make money off of, and it was something that I was passionate about. So it came easy, right? It's easy to do things that you're passionate about, right, Julie?
Absolutely.
We could definitely tell you're passionate about it. And so we're definitely sharing a mutual of space here, because I really love this, a mutual passion. So what would be some of your top tips that come to mind and where someone could get started? Because I can already imagine that there's going to be someone out there, whether they're overweight or whether they're smoking or whether they just have inflamed joints or
Right.
whatever it is, someone somewhere needs your assistance, how can they get started as far as like making sure they can get up off the couch and choose the right food or choose the right exercise for them?
The hardest
Those
part is getting
beginners.
started. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
the thing is like, if you are in a depressive state, as I was, there's the last thing sometimes in the world we want to do is move. So
Yes.
yeah. Now, if obviously, if, there's a time and place for antidepressants, and there's a time and place to work with a doctor. However, I'm going to tell you the science behind that exercise, even just 20 minutes of getting out in nature, has been scientifically proven. This is proven, you can Google it, to work better than any antidepressant medication on the market today.
Awesome.
So it's a very, very powerful way to, along with a doctor, if you're in a very deep depressive state, you don't want to just get off that medication. But if you're just kind of in a not feeling the best, kind of low energy, kind of lethargic.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not on any medications. The best thing to do is fight against, as you know, Rebecca, like as human beings, unfortunately, we have this tendency to want to be lazy, right?
Yeah.
It's just in our nature. We want to reserve energy. So unfortunately, the best tip I can get you is to just get going. I promise you that if you just go out for even just 10 minutes on a walk around the block or something like that, you're going to feel better. And what's going to start to happen is you're releasing, as you're exercising, you're releasing serotonin, which is a neurochemical in your brain. You probably all know what it is, but it makes you feel better. So what happens over time is your brain starts to put together neural pathways and say, you know what? Every time I go out and I exercise and I run or I walk or I lift weights, I feel better. So what was hard in the beginning starts to become easier and easier and easier. Hopefully that's a good tip.
No, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. I love that. So just get going. It's one step at a time. What's the old saying, Julie? You don't want to, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I don't know. Who eats elephants? Where did that saying even come from? I don't even know.
Yeah.
So let's talk about more of these, like understanding the truths behind losing weight for people over 40, for women specifically, because the women, I already know, Julie, we talked a little bit about this before we got started, but women already have these preconceptions. They have already been brainwashed and conditioned and programmed to think that, oh no, after 40, my energy levels are going to go down and my hormones are going to go whack. So we've already been programmed to think that way. So hello. We're going to be expecting that. So can we kind of acknowledge some of these and, these issues and these thoughts and ways of thinking around this? And
absolutely.
Shine some light.
Some of it becomes so ingrained in us. We hear it from our moms. We hear it from our sisters, our aunts, that we internalize that as a complete and utter truth. Yes. And it's just not. Are there some truths to that? Yes, we are going to age. Absolutely. But there are things we can do to slow the process down, to rebalance our hormones that are absolutely backed in science. So one of the things that a lot of my clients, because I work specifically with women 40 and over generally, is, they kind of get to this point where they're 40 and they feel like they just feel old. This is what they tell me. And nobody at the age of 40 should feel old.
No.
It's like, are you kidding me? Your life is just beginning.
Yes.
You have so much time, to live the rest of your life as the best of your life, kind of the old saying.
Yeah.
But so that's one of the reasons why I love working with women like that. But it's like, okay, so this book here, Younger Next Year for Women. This is a very great book for any woman 40 and beyond that is struggling, kind of wondering, my hormones are out of whack. I don't have the energy I used to. Everything is not reversible, but we can counterbalance the aging process. We can slow it down, and this is all backed in science. This book, these two doctors they were in medical practice, and they followed women, particularly over a 20-year span. This is an amazing book. And what they found was the reason they wanted to write this book, the inspiration came from, why were some of their 70-year-old clients, so vibrant, still out playing tennis. Their joints weren't achy. They felt great. Their mojo was strong and they were still going. And why were some of them, why did they have arthritis? Why could they barely walk? Why were they hunched over, overweight? All of these things that we associate with the aging process. And what they found was it's not so much, we tend to believe in the Western, it's our genetics. We need to be on all these pills. What they found, the one single correlation between the ladies living the vibrant, healthy lives over a 20-year span, 2 different doctors, was their exercise regimen. So super powerful. Super powerful. And this book can explain it better than I do. So I highly recommend Younger Next Year for Women if you're struggling with that.
Awesome.
It will definitely get you motivated to get up and get moving for sure.
I love it. And that's great. I love this because the more we surround ourselves with the right experts, right, like yourself, and the right resources like these books, we can really start to identify, okay, so how do I need to shift? What do I need to do? And it makes it a little bit easier. And I like how we can simplify the process, because again, I think that women in general just tend to overcomplicate things.
Yes.
We have to make sure we have the right recipe, and we have to do this and we have to do that. Guys, no, you don't have to do every single thing. You don't have to go completely crazy with it. Keep it simple. Get one expert, Miss Julie here, get one book, get the book she recommended, and be done with it. And just follow those simple steps and go, and see where that moves you, right? See how that progresses you to the next step. And I love how you said that, it's possible for improvement, with all of these different things. Just by getting started, the improvement is possible. And even after the age of 40, and if you believe, I always say you are what you believe you are. And if we really believe that you're 40 and old, you're gonna believe that, and your body's going to respond to that. And it's going to say, oh, okay, she says we're 40 and old, so that's how it's going to be. Right. So I want to challenge people, Julie, and I think both of us should challenge people. I keep saying people, but women, ladies out there, we want to challenge you ladies out there to create your new truth. I love this. This is something that I've started training my clients on in the world of business, and it can be applied to everything. But how do we create our new truths? Because as adults, all we know is what we've been, like you say, Julie, what our parents told us and teachers told us. How about we reprogram, take the time to step back and actually visualize who we want to become. When I turned 40, I actually told myself, you know what, Rebecca, the next 20 years is going to be way better than the last. And guess what? It's going to be the next 20 after that is going to be even better. And it's just going to be awesome and more awesome and more awesome. I've already claimed that destiny. I want to challenge the girls out there to do the same thing. Claim who you want to be today. So if it's a an amazing marathon runner or a hot, sexy grandma at 70, whatever it is, claim that to be your new truth and start telling yourself that new story, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. Yes. Okay, so they started moving now. So they're like, all right, I heard Julie on there. She told me to get up off the couch and just move. So that's great. So the girls,
there's different levels, but
the girls have started moving. They started reaching out. They started reading, and they're starting to feel a little bit better. I believe that when you when you just make the decision to start, all of a sudden hope starts to creep in. And then something triggers the next step and the next thought. And it's like, oh, okay. And you start, you start to see that slight shift. Is that right, Julie? Don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like you can either be in a vicious cycle or a virtuous cycle kind of thing. And we're all either in one or the other most of the time. So once you take those first steps, it becomes easier to take the next and the next.
So that's good. So they started doing that. And they've now decided, you know what, I'm going to create my new vision and my new story, and they're going to start doing that as well.
So
I love that. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about another truth here, and that women think that over the age of 40, then their hormones are going to go all crazy. Do you want to talk about hormones right now? Because I know that's a big one with women.
Yes, yes. I have a lot of women that come to me, and generally the women that are coming to me with the hormonals are generally more in their 50s, maybe
Mm,
48 to like 52, and my hormones are out of whack. I can't lose any weight, right?
right.
Is what their belief is. And as
Hmm.
you just so poignantly, said, if we believe it, that
Yeah.
is what becomes our truth. So the first thing we have to, and I know it might sound a little woo woo or something, but it is so true that you have to address your mindset, because what you believe becomes your reality. So if you're telling yourself, my hormones are out of whack, I'm not going to lose weight, that then becomes your reality. Is there truth in the fact that your hormones are different than they were in their 20s and 30s? Yes, absolutely. So we don't totally ignore that.
Right.
However, the science all states that when we're eating the right foods, getting the right nutrition in, and by right, you're probably wondering, well, Julie, what is right? It's easy, it's simple. Like Rebecca said, we want to keep things simple. It's just avoiding non-processed foods as much as possible. That's it. There's no diets, there's no magic pill, there's no potions out there that are going to do it for you, right?
Right.
Are there
Yes.
things we can add in that, help? Multivitamins, fish oil, absolutely, However, just a healthy, non-processed diet with plenty of water, plenty of fresh air, plenty of sunshine is going to do a lot
Yes.
to regulate our hormones.
Absolutely.
So there's that side of it. And then, with the exercise component of it, there
Hmm.
are some things that do happen to us. Now, this is from a biological standpoint that have been backed in science, that every decade we lose about 10% of our muscle tissue. However, the great news is it's an easy fix. It's super easy to counterbalance that. You either strength train in the gym, if that's your kind of gig, kind of you like being in the gym. Some women don't like being in the gym. Body weight exercises at home, yoga, Pilates. Like I was out the other day windsurfing, and I decided to take this up at I'm 44, never done it before, but the strength that it takes to lift the sail out of the water and uphaul it is what they call it. And then, these kind of things are going to help regulate your hormones. Now, this is backed in science, it's proven. It'll help kind of regulate your estrogen, your progesterone, all these things. I'm not a doctor, obviously. And so if you are having some true hormonal balances, seek out a doctor. Find a great holistic doctor that can help you balance it, but we don't have to live with this. And we don't have to say, oh, it's my age. That's why I've got this, spare tire around my stomach, because I've seen women, even into their 60s, basically take off all the weight in their abdominal area, and they thought it was impossible. So it can be done. The first step, again, going back to the beginning, is belief.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And I highly recommend what you said too, is like, seek out a doctor if you need to.
Mhm.
Holistic, definitely. I always say the functional medicine doctors are a little bit better at
Yeah,
identifying exactly what's happening with you on a hormonal level. And this was only due to my own research, because I wanted to see, as I was aging, what I needed to do to fill the gaps, because I want to optimize my health and fitness and my vitality
absolutely.
as I get older, right? Well, I don't like to say as I get older, as I progress. I say progressing gracefully. That's my term. And as we progress gracefully in our lives, it's up to us to take our responsibility for our bodies and our health. So we have to take a
Absolutely.
look at that. So find out what those gaps are, because everyone's going to be different, right? Slightly different. And then a functional medicine doctor can help you do that
Yes.
fairly easily.
Yes, yes. So if you do have like a true hormonal imbalance, which a lot of ladies do, it can be, see what happens with exercise and nutrition too, and with the
Right.
health. Exercise and nutrition is only going to help the situation. It's never going to hurt
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Right. I
So,
totally agree. That's amazing. And you're exactly right, Julie. It's amazing what happens. I always say, when you go to whole, live, beautiful green foods, when you go to that kind of thing and you drink nothing but awesome water, fresh, good, alkalized water, those things right there could totally have a huge impact. And like you
yes,
said before, even getting sunshine and fresh air, like to me, that's so simple. It's mind boggling. Like,
yeah,
are you telling me that I could feel better just to get a little sunshine, a little fresh air in my lungs, move a little
Best
bit,
doctors.
and drink water. Yeah. And most of that's for free. And
Yeah.
then versus, yeah, like you said, going to pay tons of money on prescriptions and doctor's fees. It's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. It is a total no-brainer to me. So can you explain maybe your approach? Like if I was to come to you or someone needed someone,
Absolutely.
and someone needed your help and they come to you, kind of just give us a brief description of what that looks like on their first day approach.
Yeah. So I use something called the MML method. So it's mindset, it's method, and it's love.
Awesome. I love
We
it.
have to infuse love into what we do
Yes.
because we don't want to hate our lifestyle. I don't know about you, Rebecca, but I'm not eating brown rice, like chicken boiled on the stove and broccoli for the rest of my life.
Right.
I don't want to be in the gym on a treadmill for an hour a day. I don't love that.
Yes.
So, that has to be infused, and loving our body. Our bodies, our beautiful vessels, our miraculous bodies that are bringing us through this life, no matter where we're
Yeah.
at.
Amen, sister. Yes.
I'm so huge on that because if the thing is there's nothing wrong. Let's just say you're 100 pounds overweight and you've got to get some of this weight off of you if you want to live the best life. It's not a judgment. It's not you're a horrible person. It's just you want to live your best life and you feel like I'm not doing that. We don't want to go to the gym then and get on the treadmill and the whole time on the treadmill, I got to lose this fat. I got to lose this fat. That's coming from a place of, it's just not coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of frustration. And unfortunately, a lot of times that can cause you to not enjoy the process, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, I've been there before. I know how that feels.
Yes. And so I know it can be difficult. But I promise you the journey is going to be so much more enjoyable if we can program our minds to come from a place of love rather than hatred, frustration, things like that. From a mindset standpoint, it's like everything, our whole entire, and I know you agree with me on this, Rebecca, our whole entire reality, basically, in a sense, starts in our mind first, and then we bring it into fruition in the real world. So we don't want to come from a mindset of, I can't do this. I've always been overweight and I always will be overweight. That's a
big
story.
One.
Yeah, that I hear a lot of times from my ladies that had, maybe they were chunky as a child. They used food as comfort or a shield. A lot of women use weight as a shield. So these are the kind of things, the stories that we tell ourselves that I help clients overcome. So that's one, because we can have, the right method. We can know, like, if it was just about information, every one of us would be millionaires and we'd all have six-pack abs.
Yes.
Right? Because information is everywhere. So it's not just information. So we have to have our mindset and we have to have the method, the right blueprint, the right system coupled together.
I agree.
And then we also have to infuse love. I strongly believe that.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Well said, Julie. I couldn't agree with you more on every level there. It is totally right. So, and I know how it feels. So the ladies out there, you've already heard Julie's story and you've heard a little bit about mine, throughout the podcast in season 1, but most of what I talk about usually is my story when it comes to being a single mom, struggling, that sort of thing. I rarely talk about, how I was able to, get healthy and fit, because that story just rarely comes up. But I do understand what it's like to be stuck, in a place where you're just completely unhappy with the way you look or the way you feel, and you feel kind of trapped or powerless, and maybe even overwhelmed with all, like you said, all the amazing information we have at our fingertips. And it just kind of freezes us, and we're like, well, I don't know where to go. Have I tried every plan or whatever? So I do understand, and I do have compassion, for those people out there who are in that space right now, because I know how they feel. But you don't have to stay there. That's the cool thing about being a human being, is we have the choice, and we can decide to change our situation and our circumstance. And so by me sharing my story, even of me being a single mom and how I was able to get through those, struggling moments of being poor and homeless and all these crazy things into, a thriving businesswoman that I am today. Those moments of courage and those moments of facing your fears, they could be applied to just about anything, not
Yes.
just business and money, but also to health and wellness. So I always say that, it's okay, forgive yourself and try, like you said, Julie, start to love yourself for who you are, where you are right now in this moment, and know that you can become someone better, and you can step into a better circumstance and a better situation. And we're here for you. Julie and I are here, and all the amazing experts that we have on the Girls Guide to Greatness podcast. That's what we have. That's why we exist, is to reach out to those people who are hurting, they are in pain, they need help, they need guidance. We're here to shine our light in the lives of others. So then, it's always like passing the torch. We have our own stories. We overcame, and we are standing before you wiser and stronger and healthier than ever before. And now it's our turn to share that with other people. So Julie, I can't be any happier having you on the show and discussing this amazing subject, because it really is needed. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This has been awesome. I love it. Okay, so last but not least, for the ladies out there who are excited to get started working with you, where do they find you?
So yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Julie K. Prince. I have a business page. Feel free to reach out to me in that regard. I also have a website, www.juliekprince.com. Absolutely reach out to me on that as well. I do something called a 10-day test drive to the Transformation Academy.
Awesome.
So you can kind of try it out, like test drive, like you would a car kind of thing. And when you love it, you can become part of the Transformation Academy if that's something that you're, interested in. So
that's great. Sure. I love it. It's okay, ladies, you heard it from Julie herself. You know how to reach out to her. Be sure you do, and do the test drive. That sounds like fun. Everybody likes doing test drives, right? That's awesome. And then I guess we'll have all of your links and everything. Oh, and even the book you mentioned, we'll have everything in the show notes for everybody to check out.
Perfect.
And then, so make sure you guys reach out to Julie, and thank you again for being on the show. And this wraps up episode 1 of season 2, guys. So thank you so much for being with us. And we'll see you on the next episode. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.